Hey guys, Thurgeon here. Just starting to do some YouTube videos because I would go a lot of times to find reviews on games or maybe, tech-savvy items in general. And especially with the games, you go to try and find a, decent review and you just can't find one because there's too much just bullcrap thrown in with the minute amounts of information that they put. So, real quick, I'm going to do a first impression on Archeage. I've been playing it for, I guess, close to a month now. Starting to really get the idea of how the game, runs, what it does, what you can do, etc. One of the major thing about any MMO is the mechanics. The movement mechanics are probably one of my biggest complaints about this game. Mainly due to the fact that it's blocky. That's probably the best word I can think of. It's blocky. If you ever played the original Guild Wars, it has a lot of that feel to it, where you can't really run diagonally. I mean, you can, but it's inefficient in the game. So that's one of my biggest complaints. So with that, I guess that's kind of good, because the economy on the game is pretty interesting. You run trade packs and do different things like that. You can do that on land, short distances. You can do it on a ship on the same continent. Just traverse quicker like that across the continent, or you can even go to the enemy continent, which would be the Reds, is what they are in the game. It's a western and eastern continent. The amount of reward you get increases exponentially with the amount of difficulty and distance that you create with your packs. There's also an island called Friedrich Island. You can take them there too, but you're more than likely going to get ganked, because that's what happens. Lots of ganking with trade pack runs, so you got to be careful. PvP is pretty fun. It's definitely ranged biased. So if you are a spell singer, or like a I'm sorry, not a dark runner, it's a melee class, kind of like an assassin. A primeval, stone arrow, spell slinger, things like that. They're archery type classes, or throwing spells. You're going to have a much easier time by far in PvP, because there are instances where you get to one-on-one people. So, maybe 25% of the time you can find an instance like that. But I would say the majority of PvP in that game is definitely group. And if you are melee, you're generally going to get your butt kicked. So unless you're really geared and you can withstand the initial bursts, to where you can drop some people. What else? The class system. Class system's really cool. It kind of reminisces me on Final Fantasy XI or Guild Wars, in the sense that you can, at least with Final Fantasy, you can change your main job or your sub job, at any time, and be something different, which is really, really cool to me. So you can do everything in one character. In the Guild Wars sense, you could do the sub job. So kind of reminisces on that. The only difference is that in Archeage you have 3 classes. So like I play a primeval and a dark runner on my one character, which is archery, shadowplay, and oromancy. And the only difference with dark runner is it's battle rage instead of archery. So like, I can switch between those as I want anytime for a small transaction fee. Whatever. Really cool though, really cool. The labor systems in the game would be the next thing, and I like the idea, but it does kind of create a definite advantage to having the patron status, which is the subscription. So labor's cool, pretty much anything you use labor for, you gain experience for. So that's good. If you're not patron, though, you only gain 5 labor every 5 minutes while you're logged on. If you are patron status, you gain 5 every 5 minutes you're not logged on, and 10 every 5 minutes you're logged on. So it's huge, huge, huge advantage. But use labor for cutting down trees, uprooting crops, mining ore, crafting things, making trade packs, turning in trade packs, opening coin purses you find off dead bodies. A lot of stuff. Use it for a lot of stuff, and it's a cool system. It's just very much gives the patron status a advantage. What else do I need to hit? The Apex. So you have an Apex system. It's called Apex, at least. Basically, you can spend real money and buy Apexes and a number of other items through credits. Apexes themselves you buy with money straight up, I believe. I've never bought one. But essentially you can trade these items in game, which is awesome for people like me who would rather not have to pay a subscription. I can amass gold in game, trade that for the Apex, and then when I use the Apexes, it gives me credits, which I can then use to up my subscription again, which is really cool. But yeah, I will be doing a follow-up video of this. I just didn't have the time to create the footage and stuff for in-game that I want to show. So if you will, follow me. That'd be awesome. I know this video is probably a little boring because I had no music or anything to go with it, but they will get better, I promise. And yeah, see you next time.